Hey, welcome back to Innovators in Real Estate. I'm Sue Pinky Benson, your host, and today I am with my friend, Katie Lance, and I will, full disclosure, say my mentor. I have known Mrs. Lance for many years now. I think we're going on over a decade, Katie, has it been?
I think so, yeah.
If you don't know who Katie Lance is, I'm going to ask you if you've been under a rock somewhere, but maybe you haven't been at a real estate conference around the country. Katie, you've spoken at quite a few different conferences. Can we name a few?
Sure. Yeah, I've spoken at the National Association of Realtors conferences many times. REMAX, R4, Coldwell Banker, Gen Blue, Inman Connect. Probably just about every, franchise and the state association.
Every franchise out there.
Yes.
And her topic of choice, what she is a guru at, is social media. In fact, she has an academy and a book called Get Social Smart, which you are the author of, Katie. You came up with all these wonderful ideas on what to do on social media for specifically real estate agents, right?
Yeah, specifically for real estate. Absolutely.
And when I first met Katie, it was actually at a class that she was presenting at, and she brought up using video. And this was like 10 years ago. And this was long before there was an Instagram, or I don't even think LinkedIn around. I think we had Twitter and Facebook. And she brought up using video during that presentation. And I was like, oh my gosh, I can start using video. So I was like, I say if you do not like my videos, it's all Katie's fault, because she was the one that got me started.
Sorry, everybody.
So that being said, social media has definitely evolved over the years, because like we said, there was Facebook and there was Twitter. And that's kind of where you started, Katie, right?
Yeah. Basically Facebook, Twitter. I was a blogger at one point, I think on Active Rain. Actually, that's probably where I really started. And then, Facebook, Twitter, maybe a little bit of MySpace back in the day.
Ooh, I don't even think I could log into mine. Does it even exist anymore?
I've been told it does, but it's totally different. It's all for music now.
Of course, everything is going towards music in some way, shape, or form. Got to bring it back in. If we're not listening to it on the radio, we got to be lip syncing to it on a TikTok.
Exactly.
I think they actually are starting to make dances and lyrics. Like I was noticing that they're starting to make those, like when the song comes out, they get that catchphrase out there so that people really catch on, and then it becomes this viral dance or whatever. So it's really, it's ingenious and very creative of the way things have evolved.
It's smart marketing,
So tell people, what is it that you got started into the social media game? Like I said, about 10 years ago, maybe a little bit longer, after you'd been working with Inman News, and you were a writer there for them.
I was actually brought on as their marketing director, and to kind of do all things marketing, email marketing, social media marketing, content marketing. I was wearing many hats. And before that, I actually worked at a local real estate company. And that's really kind of where I got my foot in the door, working with realtors, understanding how hard realtors work. And from working from there, I was doing marketing at this local kind of boutique real estate company, went on to work for Inman for a number of years, and kind of quickly moved into being a social media director. I remember just kind of looking around going, oh my gosh, this is a media company. There's so much content here. And this is really kind of at the infancy of social media in a lot of ways. And so, I just kind of rolled up my sleeves and dug in and started doing a lot of stuff behind the scenes with Inman for social media. And then kind of got pushed to the stage a little bit, started being a little bit more forward facing, and started doing a lot of teaching and speaking from the stage. So it's definitely been quite a journey.
and I think that's one of the things with social media is it has evolved. I mean, Facebook now is not what it was 10 years ago. It's not even what it was 2 years ago. And then Twitter, now we have Elon Musk doing something over there. I'm not quite sure what's going on. I think he went from like 7,000 employees to like 59 or something.
Right.
I have no idea. Then we've got Instagram, we've got TikTok, LinkedIn. How do you keep up on top of it? Because I think as real estate agents, we're all kind of overwhelmed on like, okay, which platform should I be doing? And we'll get into that, but how do you keep up on it to help educate the real estate agents?
So, I mean, I always go back to something I've said for years. I'm sure you probably heard me say this, and that is social media is rented ground. we don't own it, right? And so I always think that when I think about, like, some of the turmoil that's happening right now on Twitter, or, there's the debate on should you be on TikTok or not, right? There's always conversations about, is this worth it? Is it not worth it? And I just kind of take a step back and go, like, regardless of platform, we don't own it. We don't own any of those platforms. So I really think it's important for an agent or broker to develop and create assets that they own no matter what. And so what we think of is really kind of two pieces of content. Number one, your database, super important. It's not necessarily social media related, but it kind of is, right? Getting people from Facebook, Instagram, wherever you're spending time, to your database, I think is huge. And then second of all, content. So, we kind of think more about creating a kind of a pillar content strategy. And, pillar content, as is content that it's somewhat evergreen, somewhat timeless, but it's also content that you can put on multiple platforms. You can repurpose, you could share it today, and you could probably share it again 3 months from now. And so it's not necessarily the kind of content that's going to make you go viral, like on TikTok or something, but it's a very long-term and I think sustainable strategy, because I don't think agents and brokers need to spend all day on social media. I don't think they need to be, dancing all day long. I think they just need a strategic plan, just like any other part of their business.
So be strategic about when you dance, right?
Yes, exactly. And I will say there's nothing wrong with having fun. I mean, like, that's half of why I love your videos. Like, you're fun, you are who you are. But you're also, like, you have a point to what you're talking about, whether you're showcasing, some of the, the homes that have been affected by Hurricane Ian, or you're, sharing really helpful, relevant information about what's going on in your local area. I really think it's all about, like, leaning into who you are and who you're not, and having fun with your content. We don't have to be, kind of stiff and boring. But that's part of the process also. Like, the more you get on camera, the more you do it. At first, it's super uncomfortable. And the more you do it, the better you get. And the more your true personality comes out.
I think so as well. And, let's talk now. This is mainly Naples agents that are going to be watching this, because this is the Naples Area Board of Realtors. And, I'm going to tell a little story about my social media journey of coming into Naples. So when I first moved here nearly 8 years ago, I was down at my new office at that time, and I was talking to some of the agents in there. And this particular agent was not an older agent. In fact, I think she was younger than me at the time, and she probably still is, because right. And I was talking about Facebook and the power of Facebook, and she said, "Oh, we're in Naples. No one here cares about Facebook or how many followers you have on Twitter." She just kind of blew me off. And I thought that was so interesting, because, at first that was kind of the pushback I got here in Naples, was like, oh, we don't need social media. We don't need Facebook. And what I would say to them is, well, while you may not be on it, the rest of the world is, and they're coming here to find information. Don't you want to have your store, your business, you out there into this public realm that is in essence free, rented ground, but free? And they would look at me and say, oh, you mean like they can see it over in Spain and Portugal? Because we have a lot of international people that come here. And I'm like, yes, of course they can see it. So now, this is now what, 8 years later, I can't seem to get the Naples people off of Facebook and onto any other platform.
They're like, well, you said Facebook.
I said Facebook, don't do Facebook. So my question to you is, is it worth being on other platforms then? Is there growth opportunity still, or should you just be on Facebook?
I think you definitely should be on multiple platforms. I think Facebook's a great place to start. A lot of people are still on Facebook. The Facebook's been in the news a whole lot, of course, but I think Facebook sort of hits a certain demographic, in a lot of ways. But I also think that there's a lot of folks who over the last few years kind of step back from Facebook for a variety of reasons. And, I know for us, we get a ton of traction on Instagram. I am still active on Facebook. I have a business page. I have a personal profile. I have a Facebook group for our academy, which is one of the things I think is great about Facebook, our groups. I think that's a great opportunity. But Instagram, I think is really appeal to a lot of people because it's a very aspirational platform, which is perfect for real estate, right? It's pretty pictures, it's videos. And, Instagram has changed like leaps and bounds over the last 8 to 10 years, but I think it's a great place to build conversations. It's a great place to get found outside of your circle. A lot of times with Facebook, you find that you're kind of speaking to an echo chamber. You post something and it's like the same 10 people that are liking your posts, and half of them is like your family. So
Exactly.
Instagram, especially if you have an Instagram business account or creator account, as long as it's public, you're going to get found by people, like you said, in Spain or other parts of the world who may be looking for information about Naples, who might be looking to move to Florida, and they have no idea, like, what's the difference between Naples and Miami, or just some of the different places. If you're not from the area, you don't know. And so it's a great opportunity to expand. So yeah, absolutely. I think multiple platforms. I know you're expanding into YouTube, right? Which is a whole nother conversation. YouTube's a great opportunity.
All right, well, let's play a little what's hot and what's not in social media right now. And since we're on the big F word for Facebook, let's, Katie's like, oh my. So let's talk about it. Do you think Facebook is hot or not?
Can I be lukewarm?
It can be lukewarm. It can be lukewarm. I'll let you. Well, we can even break it down to more. I've got my list here of, okay, how about these types of posts on Facebook? Okay. Your award-winning status on Facebook.
Not.
It's too much, too often.
It is. And, you scroll through Facebook and a lot of times it's just everyone patting themselves on the back, right? It's sort of the
hashtag humble.
Exactly. Humble brag. And I think, look, every once in a blue moon, I think it's probably fine. But I think the challenge in real estate is a lot of times we see awards for every single, sort of little thing. And, I just think there's other opportunities. I think if you can shine the light on others, versus yourself, that's a win-win. Maybe if you win an award, maybe it's less about you and more about like the people you've worked with and your clients. So a lot of times, honestly, it kind of comes down to like how you phrase something, like not just, I did this, I have it just listed, I have this. It's,
that's the next one, Katie.
Okay.
Is it hot or not? Facebook posts that say, just listed, just sold, just did my job.
Right. Again, probably not, but I do want to say, I think you can still talk about listings. Again, it's just like how you say it, if you're just copying and pasting from the MLS, if everything's in all caps, I mean, it's like, I could have found this anywhere, no one's going to social media to search for homes. The difference with social media is you want to create a conversation, right? So posting something interesting, like you do this all the time. I love how you pull out like historical facts, or you'll say, like, you won't believe the story of this, ... And that a story makes you lean in. You're like, oh, like that looks interesting, So just taking it a step further and understanding like Facebook is not a postcard, it's not the same thing as the MLS. And just, kind of reading the room, so to speak.
Personalizing it, giving your spin on it is really what it comes down to.
100%.
Yeah. And I think that the other part with the just listed, just sold, there is a place for it. Mm-hmm. But I think that it's about timing. How often is that the only thing that you're posting is that, and you're like, why am I not getting traction? Well, because you need to diversify. You need to be sharing some parts of your personal life. That does not mean all of your personal inside gossip. I don't need to know the skeletons in your closet, but
exactly
sharing, a little bit about yourself, I think helps to grow who you are and ultimately brings you clients that want to work with you because maybe you have a common denominator. You both love Back to the Future movies or something. I don't know.
Exactly. Well, you make a good point of diversifying your content. I think the big mistake a lot of agents make is they just post promotional content, right? So promotional is just listed, just sold, open house. I won an award, it's even testimonials. Those are all, it's important, but it's just all promotional. So diversifying, whether it's personal interests or, like I know you do a lot of stuff about your community. I think that's a great way to diversify your content. I remember when you first moved to Naples, you were highlighting a lot of local businesses. And I think that's fantastic, shining the light on others in your community and, showcasing a little bit about who you are, what you're all about. I think that's awesome.
All right. Well, you did say this, which is what is hot in Facebook, and that is groups. Groups are important, and how some of them to me have gotten very overwhelming. Some people have made them a little too much. Some of the neighborhood ones are a little over the top. But what would you say as far as groups? Why are they important? What do you think?
Yeah, I think there's kind of two big opportunities with groups. I think the neighborhood ones, like you said, a lot of people say, oh, there's already one or there's already two or whatever. My thought is, well, even if there's a group, it's not your group. And when you do run your own group, it's your group, your rules. It's like your house, your rules. You can have whoever you want in it. You can run it however you'd like to run it. And just like any other part of social media, again, you have to be strategic, right? You can't just create a group and expect everyone to flock to it. So you have to be strategic with it. I know a lot of folks that we work with in the academy, if they do traditional marketing, like with postcards or flyers, a lot of times on that content, they will put information about their neighborhood Facebook group. So it kind of ties it together. And ultimately the goal is to be really helpful, to be that neighborhood resource. The other type of group we've seen work really well is where agents create a private Facebook group for their clients. And so what ends up happening at the end of a transaction is an agent will say to their client, hey, I would love to invite you to be a part of my VIP group. These are, this is a private group just exclusively for all of my clients that we've worked with. It's a great opportunity for you to meet each other. There's some great resources, great people in the community. And now you've got this private place where your clients can connect, and then you can love on them at scale, which is kind of nice. If you've been in real estate a long time, sometimes it's hard to keep in touch with people over the course of time. So, and with Facebook, they do have some good tools in place. You can schedule content in your Facebook group. I don't think you should do that all the time, but it's nice to occasionally do that. We have a post we put up every Wednesday in our Facebook group. It's Wednesday wins, right? So it's like, what's your win of the week? And it's just a great way to kind of spark a conversation. Some agents will have a post in their group every Friday. Hey, featured Friday, feature your local business, or feature what you're doing. Tell us all about what, whatever it might be. So just like anything, being consistent, but it's a great place, I think, to bring people together. And it's very different than a page. A page I look at as more like a bulletin board where you're like, this is what's going on. This is what's going on. And a group is more of a conversation.
All right. So Katie, hot or not, Instagram?
Definitely hot.
So real estate agents should make an effort to go and learn this platform.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, it's not the new platform anymore. It's been around a long time. And, just like anything else, you got to dig in, maybe lurk a little bit and follow people like me and Sue and some other folks who are posting a lot of great content. But yeah, dive in. There's a lot of parts of Instagram, from stories to reels, video content, of course. But yeah, it's now is the opportunity for sure.
And IG bio, your Instagram bio, how hot or not is that?
Definitely hot. You only have, I think it's about 150 characters or so. So it's really important that you tell people who you are, what brokerage you're with, maybe something a little bit personal, and then have a link in your bio. You're only allowed one link in your bio. So a lot of people just have their website. Yeah, choose wisely. I use a free tool. It's called Linktree. There's other free tools out there, so you can have multiple links in your bio. But it's super important. That way you get found, right? So don't be a secret agent.
Yeah, and you know what? I will say, I heard Subi Zimmerman was talking about your IG bio and she said, what is the promise that you've put out there on your IG bio, and are you delivering it? So for, like mine says, your Naples fun fact chick and help people with social media, real estate agents with social media. So that's what my content base is around. So you want to go and look at your bio and say, okay, what have I promised my audience, and am I delivering on it? And if all it is real estate, my question to you is, would you go and follow your dentist or the guy that sold your car? Like, you've got to think about it. Like, why am I just going to come here for just listed and just sold? You're never going to just grow from that. So there's my little plug for the IG bio. So we want to make sure that's good. IG stories, hot or not?
Definitely hot. I still get a lot of questions about stories. A lot of agents don't quite understand the importance. And the number one reason I think to do stories is people follow your stories who already follow you and they want to get to know you better. So what better reason to do stories, right? It's a way to build relationships, to stay in touch with people. It's the behind the scenes from business to life, and then your feed, I look at your feed as more of like your website, right? It's more of like public content that people from all over, whether they're following you or not, are going to discover you with. So, but stories I think are super important.
So let's segue with Reels and TikTok short form video. hot or not?
Very, 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 very hot. Very hot.
Like, just burn it up hot.
Burn it up. It's burning the screen.
So as we go into 2023, and it may be 2023 when they're watching this, this is something that you should double down on, short form video, Katie.
Absolutely. Short form video has kind of taken the world by storm. It started with TikTok, and we have Instagram Reels, Facebook Reels. I mean, if you want to go back to Facebook, one of the ways to get traction on Facebook is Facebook Reels, and YouTube. We have YouTube Shorts now. So for anyone who's already creating vertical video content, you might as well put it on multiple platforms to get that multiple, eyeballs.
Verticals, vertical. Let's see, where we go. Verticals this way, not this way, this way.
Yeah.
Yep.
And the good news is you don't need a lot of equipment. We all have a phone, right? And it's short. So when we're talking about short form video, I'm talking under 60 seconds. I know some platforms allow longer, but when I do vertical video, I do all mine 60 seconds and under. That way I know it'll work on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, wherever, because every platform is different, of course. And again, own your content. So when I'm creating vertical video, I don't just put it on Instagram, let it live there. I save it, I download it. I keep all my video content on Google Drive or Dropbox, just in case something happens. It's good, But yeah, and one thing I'll say really quick about short form vertical videos, I think the trend is going in 2023 to more of being on camera, sharing helpful tips. I mean, one of the things Instagram has said is like original content. So if you don't want to be lip syncing and you don't want to do some of the fun dances, which is fine. I mean, I love that stuff, but if you don't want to do that, if you want to be on camera and just share a few tips about Naples, what's the biggest mistake people make when they move to Naples, right? Like just all the local stuff about your local area, get on camera. And then, like I said, repurpose it to multiple platforms. And the more you do it, the better you get. So
yep.
no
And it's
time
okay.
like the present.
Generation Z likes authenticity. So making your mistakes, your bloopers, it's all good. They actually engage and find you to be more authentic that way. So don't worry if you're not camera perfect. It actually works to your benefit. Sometimes I have to mess up just so I look more natural.
Exactly. And by the way, I would say if you're nervous on camera, do Instagram stories. Like start there, start getting on camera, because guess what? Those disappear in 24 hours. Where a reel is permanent. It's permanently on your feed unless you delete it. So I know for a lot of folks, myself included, I got a lot more comfortable face-to-face on camera when I started doing stories every single day. Just showing up a couple stories a day. It'll boost your confidence, on getting on camera. But yeah, it's huge.
Well, there's so many other social medias we could get into, but unfortunately we don't have a whole lot of time. So I want for everyone to hook up with you at Get Social Smart. And is it getsocialsmart.com?
Yeah, they can either go to getsocialsmart.com or just katielance.com and connect with me on socials.
You can find her on Instagram. I know she's there. I follow her. So go check her out. Thank you, Katie, for joining us for Innovators in Real Estate. I so appreciate you spending some time with us today. And if you ever have the opportunity to see her speak, just do it. Go see her.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure being here.